Good morning everyone. Last time we have explained about different type of crafts or the boats which are used for the harvesting of the fish from variety of water bodies, and we know the fishing craft or the boats provides a platform for fishing or catching operations to the fishermen. Today we are going to explain the principal fishing gears or the nets. So fishing gears or the nets are the real catching equipment. Fishing gears or the nets are the real catching equipments in which fish get caught or entangled into the net at the time of harvesting of the fish from the different water bodies. So the principal fishing gears or the nets are the equipments used effectively to collect fish or to catch the fish from the water body is called as fishing gear or the nets. Nets or the gears are made of cotton, silk yarns, hemp or other special yarn or fibers, and this can be prepared by the fishermen themselves, or these are the products of the cottage industry. So the fishing gears or the nets are the device or the real catching equipment useful for harvesting the fish from the different water bodies. The nets can be prepared by using different type of fabrics such as cotton, silk yarn, hemp or other special yarns or the fibers, and the nets or the gears can be prepared by the fishermen themselves manually, or maybe the product of cottage industry. The proper and scientific management of the fishing depends on the fishing gear or the net used in accordance with the size and the habitat of the fish. So the proper and scientific management of the fishing depends on the fishing gear or the net used according to the size and the habitat of the fish. The oldest art of fishing in the form of stones and spears has been now converted into complex traps, nets, and the lines. So, old devices or the materials used for catching or harvesting of the fish are now transformed or converted into the complex nets or the traps and the lines. A net is basically a piece of webbing in which the twines or the threads are intersected into regular mesh size and given a certain form. The fishing twines are made up of any natural fabric product such as cotton, silk, flax or flax hemp to synthetic materials like nylon and capron. So net is basically a piece of webbing in which the threads or the fibers of the particular type are intersected into regular mesh and has been given a certain form. The fishing twines or the threads are made up of any natural fabric product such as cotton, silk, flax hemp to synthetic materials like nylon and capron. So these are the different type of natural and synthetic fabrics and are prepared for used for the preparation of the nets. At the point of intersection between twines, there may be knots or simple interlacing. So the nets can be prepared by using desired type of fabric or the fiber. And while preparation of the net, the at the point of intersection, there may be a knot or there may be simple interlacing, that is without knot, but a mesh with a desired size can be prepared in the net. Mesh size represents the distance between 2 points of intersection. Mesh size depends on the distance between 2 points of the intersection, and it is very important factor in determining the selectivity of the fishing. So mesh size is very important. Mesh size is very important while catching the fish because the mesh size decides, because the mesh size of the net decides or determines the size of the fish which is to be harvested. So mesh size represents the distance between two points of the intersection, and it is very important factor in determining the selectivity in fishing. So with the help of definite mesh size, of the net, we can catch or we can harvest the desired size of the fish from the water. A net needs some sort of accessories for its functioning, and it is very important. So mesh size is very important in determining the selectivity in fishing. A net needs some sort or some type of accessories for its functioning, and these accessories includes ropes, cables, stacks, floats, sinkers or weights, anchors, thimbles, swivels, shackles, cables, snoods, and reinforcement ropes, and the webbing. So these are the different type of accessories which can be accompanied or connected with a main net or actual net which is prepared for catching or harvesting of the fishes. So these accessories uh, are important. These accessories are important for the proper functioning of the net, and these accessories includes ropes and cables, stacks, floats, sinkers or weights, anchors, thimbles, swivels, shackles, cables, nooses, and reinforcement ropes, and the webbings. So these are the different type of accessories, and which can be accompanied with the net, so as to increase uh, the efficiency of the net, in catching the fish. Setting of net depends upon the nature of active netting or the passive netting when operated in water. So setting of the net or arrangement or use of the net depends upon the nature of active netting or passive netting when operated in water. Now we'll explain what is active netting. In active netting, the net carries a float line with a number of floats and a foot rope to which number of sinkers are tied. So in active netting, so means the net is used or employed in the water. When the net is employed or used in the water, and the net covers the entire depth of the water, that is from surface to bottom, entire depth of the water is covered by the net, and this represents the active netting. So when the net is applied or employed for surface of water to the bottom of the water body and divides the water body into two sides. So ultimately what happens, the fish available from two sides get entangled or caught into the net, and such type of netting is called as active netting. So in active netting, the net carries a float line with a floats, head rope with the floats, and the foot lead line or the foot rope with a number of sinkers. So sinkers will lead to the setting of the net in the bottom due to the weights of the sinkers which are attached with the foot rope, that will lead to the setting of the net in the bottom due to the weights which are fitted or attached with the foot rope, and the float line or the headline possessing floaters. So ultimately, due to presence of floaters attached with the head rope, the net will lie or remain on the surface of the water. So ultimately, the net covers the entire depth. Of the water from surface to bottom of the water body, and this leads to the harvesting of the fish or catching of the fish or the entanglement of the fish from both the sides of the water. So active netting means in active netting the net carries the floats. The net possesses the floats which are attached with the head rope or the float line and the foot rope or the lead line or the foot rope attached with the sinkers. So sinkers will bring net in the bottom and floaters will lie to the surface. So ultimately the net will form a vertical wall-like partition. Ultimately the net will form the vertical wall-like partition from surface to bottom of the water and divides the water body into two sides. So this will lead to the passage or the movement of the fish from both the sides of the net, and whatever the fish which will get in a contact with the net get entangled or caught into the net, and thus is called as active netting. So in active netting the net carries a float line with a number of floats and a foot rope to which the number of sinkers are tied. Then passive netting, in this case, the net is either set at the bottom with the help of anchors and the stakes or the sinkers, or it is held suspended near the surface by its own float line, but the net is attached by means of ropes to the larger sinkers. So in passive netting what happens? So in passive netting, the net will be employed or used in the water and is set. The net is either set at the surface or in the bottom. The net is set or applied either along the surface of water or may be applied or used along the bottom or the floor of the water body, and this can be done by using the net with only either float line and the float line or the head rope with the floaters, or the lead line or the foot rope with the sinkers. So ultimately what happens, the net can be employed or used either from surface of water up to certain depth. The net can be applied or used either from the surface of water up to certain depth, or the net can be applied from bottom to the certain height due to the sinkers which are attached with the foot line or the foot rope or lead line. The sinkers will bring the net into the bottom. The sinkers will bring the net in the bottom of the water body, and thus the net could be applied from bottom up to certain height, or the net may be applied from surface to certain depth, because the net will have the head rope with floaters without sinkers. So ultimately the net will be applied or used from surface of water up to certain depth. So this will leave the space below or above. The net when applied leaves certain space free either from surface of water or from the bottom of the water, and this will lead to the free passage or the free movement of the fish either from above the net or from below the net. So this type of netting is called as passive netting. So in passive netting, the net is either set at the bottom with the help of anchors or sinkers, and or maybe net is suspended near the surface with the help of float line or the floaters which are connected with the head rope. So in passive netting, the net is either set at the bottom with the help of anchors or stakes, or it is held suspended near the surface by its own float line, but the net is attached by means of ropes to the large sinkers on the sides. So the net in passive netting, the net is either employed or used from surface to certain depth, or may be used or applied from bottom to certain height. So this type of netting is called as passive netting. In India, a large number of fishing methods are used. In India, large number of fishing methods are used. Some common methods of fishing gears or the net are as follows. Now we'll explain the different type of nets which are used in India for harvesting the fish one by one. So first we'll explain the gill net. The gill nets are wall-like nets with the floats attached to the head rope and the sinkers fixed to the foot rope with a mesh or the openings of varying size as per the type of fish to be captured. The net is set on transverse direction. The net is set or applied on the transverse direction of the migrating fish. The net is applied or set on the transverse direction of the migrating fish or the movement of the fish. The net is made up of common hemp fibers. The gill net is made up of common hemp fibers, but nowadays nets are prepared from synthetic impermeable fibers, due to which it is or net is not possible it is not possible to see the net to the fish. So gill nets are the vertical wall-like nets. The gill nets are vertical wall-like nets provided with floats to the head rope and the sinkers to the foot rope, provided with or attached with floats to the head rope and sinkers or the weights to the foot rope or lead line. So gill nets are wall-like nets with floats attached to the head rope and the sinkers attached to the foot rope with a definite mesh size, or with a mesh or the opening of varying size as per the type of fish, to be captured or harvested. The net is set or applied transversely on the transverse direction or transversely of the migrating fish. The net is made up of common hemp fibers. The gill net is made up of common hemp fibers, but nowadays nets are prepared by using synthetic impermeable fibers, due to which it is not possible for fishes to see the net. Means in modern days the synthetic impermeable fibers are used for the preparation of the nets, due to which the net cannot be noticed or the net cannot be seen by the fishes. So the gill net is made up of common hemp fibers, but nowadays the nets are prepared by using synthetic impermeable fibers, due to which it is not possible for the fishes to see the net in the water. So as fishes try to swim through a net wall, so when the net is applied transverse vertical wall-like, when the gill net is applied or used in the water transversely or vertical wall-like, partition will be formed in the water, and so as fishes try to swim through a net wall, the meshes from a noose, the meshes of the net, when the fishes when the gill net is applied in the water like a vertical wall in the water body and covers the entire surface of the water and the bottom of the water. So entire depth of the water will be covered by the net, and the water body will be divided into two sides. So when the gill net is applied or set, in the water, from surface to bottom of the will be water will be divided into two sides, and the fish swim as the fish swim from both the sides, or as fish try to swim through a net wall, the mesh of the net form a noose round its head, and they are caught because they get entangled or caught in the fabric mesh of the net. So the speciality of the gill net is the fish get captured in the net or in the mesh of the net in the region of the operculum. So when the gill net is applied or employed in the water, will divide the water body into two sides, because the net is applied right from surface of the water up to the bottom of the water, and thus dividing the water into two sides due to presence of net like a vertical wall, and which is employed transversely or against the movement of the water, and thus when the fish swim in a water will come in contact with the vertical wall like a gill net, and when the fish try to swim through the wall of the net, the fish get entangled or caught into the mesh or into the net in the region of the operculum. So as fishes try to swim through a net wall, the mesh of the net forms a noose around the mouth or the head region, and the fish will pass through the mesh. The twine or the fabric or the fiber, twine or the fiber of the mesh sweep back into the head region, and as fish passes through the mesh of the net, the mesh size will lead to limitation for passage of the fish through the net, and ultimately the twine or the thread of the mesh of the net get entangled into the operculum of the fish. So ultimately the fish get caught or entangled into the operculum or in the region of the gills, and thus the name of the net is gill net. So as fishes try to swim through a wall of the gill net, the mesh or the meshes of the net forms a noose around its head, and as fish passes through the mesh, as fish try to pass through the mesh, the twine or the thread of the mesh slips behind through the mouth and get entangled into the operculum or in the region of the gills, and thus the name of the net is a gill net. So ultimately the fish will pass through the mesh of the net, and it get caught or entangled into the mesh in the region of the gills, and hence the name is gill net. And the fish thus get caught or entangled in the fabric or the mesh of the net, and thus the net is called as gill net. As the fish try to escape, so when the fish pass through the mesh, of the net, the twine or the mesh slips behind through the head region, but due to the broader portion or due to the broader region or the middle of the body of the fish cannot pass through the mesh, and ultimately fish has to withdraw its body from the net or the mesh. So as the fish try to escape, it gets stuck or get attached behind the operculum, and hence these nets are called as gill nets. The various dyes are used to make the net invisible. The various type of dyes, the various dyes or the colors are used to make the net invisible. These nets are generally used to catch big varieties of the fish. The gill nets are generally used to catch big varieties or a large number of fishes such as Sinhala, Pangaseus, major carps, etc. This net is fit for fishing in a fast currents. This net or the gill net is suitable. The gill net is suitable for fishing in a fast currents, therefore made of strong material with a large sized mesh. The gill net is suitable or fit for fishing or harvesting in a fast water currents. Therefore, it is made up of strong material with a large mesh size. These nets are left overnight. These gill nets are left or employed or set in the evening and kept overnight in the water, that is, they are stretched across the river banks. The nets, gill nets are stretched across the river banks and fixed by poles or the anchors on two sides. The net is hauled up in the morning and the fish is entangled or collected. So the gill net is employed or used or set in the evening and is kept in the water overnight, and during next day morning it is hauled up and whatever the fish entangled is collected. Depending on the manner of entanglement of the fish, depending on the manner of entangling the fish or attachment of the fish, depending on the manner of entangling the fish or attachment of the fish or catching of the fish, the gill nets are divided into two types. The gill nets are divided into two types. That is a simple gill net and the trammel nets. Now first we'll explain the simple gill net. In this case, a loose net webbing is set in the path of fish movement. When the fish tries to swim through a mesh, only its head passes through the mesh, but its large body cannot pass through the net. When fish tries to withdraw its head, twines slip under the gill cover or operculum, and the fish is entangled, and thus they cannot escape and the fish is caught by gills. So simple gill net. So this is a single vertical wall like net. This is a simple gill net is a single net which can be applied vertical wall like and provided with a definite mesh size. So depending on the manner of entanglement of the fish in the gill net, the gill nets are divided into two types, that is simple gill net and a trammel gill net. Now we'll explain simple gill net first. In this case, a loose net webbing is set in the path of fish movement. Simple gill net is a loose net webbing. Simple gill net is a loose net webbing and is set in the path of fish movement, that is, it is employed or arranged transversely in a water current, against the water current or against the movement of the fish in the form of loose net webbing. When the fish try to swim through the mesh, only its head passes through the mesh, but its large body behind cannot pass through the net. When fish try to withdraw its head, twines or the mesh slip under the gill cover or the operculum, The twine slip or the mesh slip under the gill cover or the operculum, and the fish is caught or entangled in the gill or the operculum. Thus, they cannot escape and the fish is caught by gills. The gill nets are generally set in a three ways. The gill net are generally set in a three ways, namely floating, anchored and staked. Floating means the net is applied from surface of water up to certain depth. Then anchor net, which can be applied either to the surface or in a midway of the water, or staked means the net is applied from bottom up to certain height. So these are the three ways of the setting or application of the net in the water. The gill nets are generally set or applied by three ways in the water, namely floating, that is the net is applied from surface of water up to certain depth. So the net is suspended from surface of water. Floating net means the net is applied or set from the surface of water up to certain depth, that is floating. Then anchored means the net is anchored or supported by means of anchors on the sides of the water, and the net is applied either from the surface or midway of the water, that is in the middle portion of the water, that is a anchored net. And staked net means the nets are applied from bottom of the water up to the certain height, which have the stakes or the sinkers attached with the foot rope, and thus net can be employed or applied from the bottom of the water up to the certain height. So the gill nets are generally set in a three ways or applied by three ways, namely floating gill net, anchored gill net or the staked gill net. So floating gill net will be applied from surface of water up to certain depth. Then anchored net are applied along the midway or in the middle portion or the middle region of the water or midway of in a water, that is anchored. And staked means the net is applied from bottom of the water body up to the certain height. Now we'll explain the simple gill net one by one. Floating or drift gill net. The floating type of net or the drift net, the floating type of net or the drift net is simply a vertically suspended wall of the net with a float line and a lead line without sinkers. So float line having floaters but lead line without sinkers. So floating type of gill net is also called as a drift net. The floating type of gill net is also called as drift gill net, and this floating type or the drift type of gill net is simply arranged or employed vertically suspended wall of the net with a float line or with a floaters and a lead line without sinkers. Means the floating or the drift gill net is employed from surface of the water up to the certain depth only. Because of presence of floaters to the headline, the net will lie or remain floating from the surface of water. The second, that is anchored type gill net. It is modified drift net. Anchored type of gill net is a modified drift net. In this case, an anchor is used. Which does not permit pre-drifting, and net is held stationary either at the surface or at any depth in the mid-water. So the anchor type of gill net can be applied or anchored or applied by with the use of anchors. The net is anchor net or anchor type of gill net is a modified drift net, and in this case anchors are used to apply or to employ the net. So with the help of anchors, the net is uh, applied, and with the help of anchors the net is applied in the water at any depth. The net is applied at any depth and which does not permit the pre-drifting of the net. The anchors will not permit the pre-movement of the net, and the net is held stationary or in a particular region. The net is held stationary either at the surface or at any depth in mid-water. That is anchored or anchored net. Floating net is a drift net, floating or drift gill net, that is applied or employed from surface of water up to the certain depth. Then anchor type of gill net, which is stationary net, which will also form a vertical wall in a midway of the water. So it is simply attached with the anchors. The anchor type of gill net is attached with the anchors and is employed at any depth, that is in a midway of the water, and it is a stationary net. Anchor type of gill net is a modified drift net, and it is applied by using the anchors, and it is employed or used at any depth of the water, and it is held stationary either at the surface or at any depth in the mid-water, called as anchor type of gill net. So these are the two examples or the two diagrams of the gill nets, such as Chandi Jal, called as a drift gill net, and which is used in West Bengal. So Chandi Jal or drift gill net of the West Bengal, which is provided with a net or a vertical wall like net with a definite mesh size, and it is anchored or attached with the boat, and it passes behind the boat. So as the boat moves in the water, the net passes behind the boat, and it is simply uh, attached to the boat, and it passes behind the boat, and the net is vertical wall like and provided with a bamboo float to the head rope and earthen weight to the foot rope. But this net passes behind the boat because it is anchored or it is attached with the boat behind. So Chandi Jal is an example of drift gill net of the West Bengal, and it forms a vertical wall like gill net or vertical wall like structure provided with a definite mesh size and head rope with bamboo floats and the foot rope with the earthen weight or the sinkers, and it is anchored with a boat. So this is first diagram representing Chandi Jal, called as a drift gill net of the West Bengal. Then another drift net, that is a Karal or a Katla Jal, called as a drift net, that is also provided with a head rope with a bamboo float and the foot rope without sinkers. So one is the example of drift gill net of the West Bengal, that is Chandi Jal, and another example, that is a Karal or a Katla Jal, which is the example of drift net, and this drift net is having the head rope provided with the bamboo floats and the foot rope without sinkers. So this type of net can be employed or used or anchored behind the boat, but it will pass behind the boat from the surface of water. So it is suspended, the net is suspended from the surface of water up to the certain depth, and thus is called as a drift net. So a carrel or katla jal is an example of a drift net which can be employed or applied from surface of the water and remain suspended from surface of water up to the certain depth from the surface of water. So these are the two diagrams representing an examples of the gill net of either a drift gill net or a drift net. So which can be employed either from surface of the water or from the bottom of the water, but which will form a vertical wall-like structure in a water. So whatever the fishes will come in contact with these nets or the mesh of these nets get caught into the net by gills. So these are the two diagrams representing an examples of the drift gill net. One is Chandi Jal, a drift gill net used in West Bengal, and other that is Carol or Katla Jal, which is also an example of the drift net. Both the nets are anchored with a boat. They are used in a large lakes or coastal fisheries and are set as a straight walls or in a bow-shaped pattern. So drift nets can the drift gill nets, when anchored with the boats, they can move in any direction. They can move in any direction with a vertical straight wall like, but they can move in any direction behind the boats. So the drift nets are used in large lakes or coastal fisheries and are set as straight walls or in a bow-shaped pattern. Means the nets can move in any direction. The nets can move any direction because these are anchored at one end and free at another end. The drift nets, when anchored with a boat, the drift nets when anchored with a boat, and when the boat will move in a water, the net, straight wall like gill net or vertical wall like gill net, which is anchored with a boat, which can move or pass behind the boat and can move freely in any direction. So the nets or the drift nets are used in large lakes or in coastal fisheries and are set as a straight wall or in a bow-shaped pattern because these drift nets, pass behind the boat because these are anchored with the boats by means of the rope behind the boat, and they can move in any direction, vertical wall like straight nets. That is, the drift net can pass behind the boat from the surface of the water up to the certain depth. Then another example, that is staked net. In this case, the net is fixed at the bottom. The net is fixed at the bottom with the help of stakes or the anchors which are attached with the foot rope. Staked nets. In case of staked nets, the net is fixed in the bottom of the water with the help of stakes or the anchors which are attached with the foot rope. The gill nets are generally rigged or accompanied with vertical snoods and the frames. Snoods are the twines and are attached at the intervals between the float line and the lead line. Snoods increase fishing efficiency and frame provide reinforcement. So the snoods which are attached with the gill net increasing fishing efficiency and the frames providing the reinforcement in the water, and so ultimately the fish get caught or captured in the net when applied as a vertical wall-like gill net. So these are the three types of gill nets. These are the three types of the simple gill nets, such as floating or drift gill net, floating or drift gill net, which will be applied from surface of the water up to the certain depth and which remain hanging from the surface of the water up to certain depth as a pre-drift net or gill net or a floating gill net. Second is anchor type of gill net, which can be applied in a midway of the, or in a midway or in a mid-water with the help of anchors called as anchor type of gill net. And third one, that is a stacked net, which is applied or used from bottom of the water up to the certain height, because the stacked net is provided with sinkers to the foot rope. So with the help of sinkers or due to sinkers or the weights to the foot rope or the lead line, the net lies in the bottom. The net remains in the bottom of the water body, and thus this can be applied from the bottom of the water up to the certain height, and this type of net is called as a stacked net. So in this case, the net is fixed at the bottom with the help of sinkers or stakes or the anchors, and the gill nets are generally rigged or accompanied with vertical snoods and frames. So these accessories, that is snoods and frames with the gill net, can increase the efficiency of the net in catching fish. The gill nets are generally rigged or accompanied with the vertical snoods and the frames. The snoods are twines attached at the definite intervals. The snoods are the twines attached at definite intervals between the float line and the lead line. The snoods are the twines attached at the intervals or definite intervals between the float line and the lead line, and snoods increase fishing efficiency, and the snoods increase the fishing efficiency, and frame provides reinforcement. So this is about the three type of the simple gill nets, that is drift net, anchored net. Drift net is suspended net hanging or suspended from surface of water up to the certain depth, and it may be a pre-drift net. Then second is anchor net, which can be anchored to any support, maybe to the boat, and which can pass behind the boat, or which can be anchored from certain support at any depth in the water. And third one, that is stacked net, which is applied in the bottom due to presence of sinkers to the foot rope. Due to attached sinkers with the foot rope, the net lies in the bottom or net remains in the bottom up to the certain height, called as stacked net. So this is about the three type of simple nets, that is drift net, anchored net, and the stacked net. Then second type, that is a trammel net, that is a complex type of net. These are 2 or 3 walled. The trammel nets are 2 or 3 walled. The walls are joined, means 3 nets. These are the 3 nets. 3 gill nets, or the 3 nets are held together or kept together, brought together to form 3 walled or 2 walled net. Trammel net is 2 or 3 walled. Trammel net is 2 or 3 walled, and 2 or 3 nets are kept together to form a single trammel net or a complex net. So trammel net is a complex form of the net, and which is prepared by using 2 or 3 nets together, 2 or 3 walled. Trammel net is 2 or 3 walled. Trammel net is 2 or 3 walled, and the net is prepared by using 2 or 3 nets together. The walls are joined above at the float line and below at the lead line. So the head ropes of the 3 net, head ropes of the 3 net, and foot ropes of the 3 net are tied together to form a single three-walled net called as trammel net. So the trammel nets are two or three walled. The walls are joined above at the float line and below at the lead line. A small mesh webbing or a net, a small mesh webbing or net is loosely hung between two tightly netted walls of large mesh size webbing from either sides. So in this case, or in case of trammel net, three nets are used. The middle net or the central net having small mesh size and which is arranged loosely between the two side nets with a larger mesh size. So this is quite simple. The three gill nets or the three nets are used together. The one central net or a middle net having small mesh size and two side nets with a large mesh size. So the three nets, one with a small mesh size kept in the middle and two side nets with a large mesh size are on the sides. So the three nets or the three wall-like gill nets are held together along their head rope and the foot rope. The three nets, two or three nets are held together along their head ropes and the foot ropes. So in a three-walled trammel net, the middle or central net having small mesh size and the two side nets having large mesh size. So the three nets, one with a small mesh size kept in the center and two nets with a large mesh size are kept on the sides. A small mesh webbing or the net is loosely hung between the two tightly netted walls of the large mesh size webbing. The tightly netted outer walls, the tightly netted outer walls has twines 3 to 4 times stronger than those of loosely netted middle wall. So the twines or the thread used for the preparation of the outer nets is 3 to 4 times stronger than that of the loosely netted middle or central net with a small mesh size. Small fishes get entangled in a middle net when the fish moves or when the fish come in contact with the trammel net. When the fish will come in contact with the trammel net or a three-walled net, that is the middle net with a small mesh size and outer nets with a larger mesh size. So when small fishes in this net, the small fishes get entangled, small fishes get entangled into the middle or central net because of its smaller mesh size, and the large fish get entangled into the outer nets with a large mesh size. So small fishes get entangled in the middle net, and the larger fish get entangled into the outer nets or both outer sides. The small fishes get entangled in the middle net, and large fish forms a bag from the both sides because the larger fish get caught or entangled into the outer nets. So small fish get entangled in the middle net and the large fish get entangled into the side nets or the outer nets, and the larger fish when get entangled into the side nets forms the bag around the small fishes. With the help of these nets, a wide range of fishes can be captured with the help of trammel net, or with the help of these nets. A wide size range of the fishes can be captured. So trammel net is a complex type of net, and trammel net is a complex type of net. It is a 2 or 3 wall net, and possessing 2-3 nets with a variable mesh size at a time in the single net, or a complex trammel net, and in which the small mesh size net is used in the center and larger mesh size nets are used on the sides. So this may be 2 or 3 wall net, and the small size pieces get caught into the middle or central net, which is having small mesh size, and larger pieces get entangled or caught into the side nets because of larger mesh size. So ultimately, the small fishes get entangled into the center or in the middle portion of the net, and larger fishes get entangled on the sides. So larger fish ultimately will form a bag around the small fishes, and thus this type of net is useful. This type of net or trammel net is useful for catching the wide range of the fish size for harvesting. So in this net, smaller fishes as well as larger fishes can be captured. So with the help of trammel nets, a wide range of fishes or wide size range of the fishes can be captured or harvested. So this is about the gill net. This is about the gill net. Next time we will explain the remaining type of nets. Thank you.